welcome back to my channel. So today what I thought I would do is do a video about how I try and find ways to make time to learn languages. So when you've got a really busy life, like that's work, school, other things that you know you have to do every day or every week, it can be really hard to find time to try and fit languages into your day. But there's like a few things that I try and do that help. So I thought I'd let you know so you could maybe try and implement them into your daily, weekly routine as well, just to try and get a bit more language learning in, or any in if you feel like you have no time at all at the moment. So the first thing I find the easiest is to try and do it at the same time every single day. So by finding the same time, it means that you sit down and you have like a solid time to do it. I find that if I don't have a specific time that I'm going to study, I'll just never find time. Whereas when I'm like, right, at 7 p.m. every single day I'm going to sit down for half an hour, I always seem to manage to do it. But if I'm like, oh, at some point this evening I'm going to do some studying, it gets to like 10, 11 o'clock and I realise I've not done anything. So I find that studying at the same time every day is really, really helpful. For me, I am much more of a nighttime person when it comes to working. So I much prefer doing my work in the evening. I find it much more relaxing. You might be the complete opposite and you might be a morning person, so you might find it best to wake up in the morning, get it done straight away, and then you don't have to think about it all day. But I'm much more of a nighttime person, so I like doing it in the evening. So the best thing to do is try and figure out the time of day that works best for you. So this could be maybe trying multiple different times of day to start with, and then finding what works best for you. That could depend on if you're a morning or a nighttime person, the schedule of your work and school, things like that will make a big difference on what's probably going to be the best time for you to try and study it every single day. Do remember though that sometimes it isn't possible to manage to do it every single day, you know, like things might come up, you might have social activities that you want to go to and you shouldn't not do those just because you know you have to study. I try and live by the rule that like try and not have 2 days off in a row, so always never skip more than one day. I think I saw that rule by Matt. He did a video on like the 2-day rule, so that's what I always try and follow. So if I miss one day, I make sure I do it the next day. Another thing you can try and do is work it into other activities. So I love to go on a daily walk. I find it really relaxing, and it's just something that I try and do every single day to just get some exercise in. So on these walks I used to listen to music, listen to podcasts, and I kind of just thought that I could use this time to study. So now for my daily walks I often use podcasts that will help me learn, so things like Talk to Me in Korean, and I've recently been starting using this one called Coffee Break Languages, I think it is, which I find super helpful. They have lots of different ones you can use for different languages as well. Maybe you're not a podcast person, maybe you like to watch TV on an evening. I did a video a few months ago now about LingoPie, which is a great resource to use if you enjoy watching TV but you want to try and get your language learning in a little bit. So they don't have that many languages at the moment, but there is a few on there that if you study those, that could be really helpful, you know, so you get to relax and unwind or whatever, but also get a little bit of studying, or at least involve it into your daily life in some way. Flashcards and apps can also be another great way to try and get little bits of language learning in. I use Quizlet from time to time as a flashcard app, which I do find quite helpful, but I am a real big fan of Duolingo, as you've probably seen from my other videos, but I also use Lingodeer too. So using like flashcards or apps can be a great way to just kind of get like 5-10 minutes in, and you don't have to sit down for like a really long period of time. You can just get a few minutes in here or there. Often I find as well when I start to study I can find like loads of time to do it, but the thought of trying to find like an hour long time slot to study can be quite like intimidating to try and find that time. So using these apps where you know you only have to do it for like 5-10 minutes, it's really easy to find that sort of like slot of time, and then often, you know, you'll do 5-10 minutes and then you'll keep going and keep going and keep going, so it ends up being much longer than what you initially planned to do. Like I was saying before, you will often find that you might have like a 5-10 minute slot multiple times a day rather than actually having 1 hour slots. or like half an hour slots. So you might find it easier to try and break up lessons that you have, you know, so you can try and do like 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, then another 10-15 minutes in an evening, rather than trying to find like a big slot at one point in time of the day. Because I mean, a lot of people don't have, you know, an hour, half an hour, 2 hours or whatever it is to study, so trying to break it up might be really, really helpful. Another thing you can do is try and practice to yourself. So you could start by potentially like speaking to yourself in that language, or maybe when you're out and about, you know, looking at things and remembering what those are in the language that you're learning. Or like other potential ideas could potentially like writing down, if you go and do your shopping, writing down your shopping list in that language, just so you try and do like daily activities in your target language to try and get more recognition around you and get some practice in. So they were like a few tips or things I do to try and get language learning into my daily life. It can be really hard sometimes to try and find time to learn a language, but trying to find things that work for you, or ways that work for you, or times that work for you, can make it so much easier in trying to find the time to learn a language. Not every day is going to work out exactly like how you want, but using small simple steps that work for you will make it 10 times easier. So these are just a few of the things that I do to make sure I have time to learn a language. Let me know if you have any other tips or tricks to try and find time to learn a language. I'd love to know, because I do really struggle with finding time, so that would be really, really helpful. And thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!